Hey guys, Mike here with Gear Test-a-thon. We test gear by putting them to the 4 elements: earth, wind, water, and fire. Find the breaking point. And today we're testing out sleeping pads. Now we hopped on to Outdoor Gear Lab, a great, fantastic review company, who reviewed over 20 sleeping pads. We took their top 3, which we have right here. We then hopped over to Amazon and found out what their best seller was, which we bought as well. So let's get these things inflated and get going.
Now, if I were to stand in front of the camera and tell you how comfy these were, you would probably think, which one of these companies is paying him the most? So let's ask some of my volleyball friends. I covered up the brand names to give all pads a fair chance, as some of these pads range from $50 up to $300. Let's see what they say.
That one? You want that one? Okay, that's cool. That one there? Yeah. All right, what about you? 2. You like number 2 better? Yeah. Okay. You like that one? Okay. Nice. That one? That one there? Okay.
Last but not least, we'll ask my avid backpacker neighbor, who had this to say.
So this one would be my first choice. Feels like the highest quality, really good support, no hip penetration as you're rolling and spinning.
To wrap up the comfy test, both the Exped and Thermarest kept me off the ground when placing all my weight on the knees. I felt the ground pretty good with the Sea to Summit, and definitely felt it with the Klymit Static. Let's find out how fast these guys dry on a sunny day in the middle of September in upstate New York with a temperature of 82 degrees, humidity 46%, wind out of the north-northwest at 5 miles per hour, dew point 56 degrees, and a sun zenith angle of 143. Okay, I may have made some of that up.
Well, it's been about 15 minutes. The first one to dry, which really dried in about 3 or 4 minutes, was the Exped. Next in line was the Neo Air Thermarest, and kind of a toss-up of the tie between the Static V and the Sea to Summit. So, on to the next test.
How well insulated are they? Don't judge, this is the best I could come up with on a hot day. I sat on them and measured how long it took before I could feel the cold on my tush. The Exped, 45 seconds. Thermarest, 2 minutes 24 seconds. Sea to Summit, the winner, at 2 minutes 39 seconds. And Klymit Static, a whopping 9.5 seconds. How strong are these? One would say they are pit bull proof, and I would tend to agree with them. Since my dog wasn't able to do the trick, how about this pile of rocks, sticks, logs, dirt, hell, and damnation? And if that's not enough, let's add 500 pounds of pea gravel and let's sit for 2 hours. Have to admit, I was expecting to come out and find some deflated pads, but all passed. So let's take it up a notch. I'll admit, this is a little ridiculous, but we test gear to the breaking point. Exped was the first and experienced the most damage. It was the only one that tore down the seam. This was one of the smallest of the 5 tears. Thermarest offered a fun ride down, almost as fun as winter sledding, and had 1 small tear. Sea to Summit slid the best, as if that matters, and had about a ½ inch tear. Here's some of the insulation in case you were wondering what it looked like. I'll go ahead and tuck that back in there. Finally, the Klymit, which also tore about 1.5 inches. Lucky for me, all pads come with a repair kit. It wasn't until I patched up the holes that I realized all the damage to the Exped, which totaled about 5 holes. Thermarest, Sea to Summit, and Klymit all had the 1 hole previously shown. To test my patch job, let's add 150 pounds of pea gravel and let's stand for 2 hours. But before I do, and for good measure, I'll hop on 2 for a total combined weight of 320 pounds. Exped was flatter than flat after 2 hours, while the other 3 didn't lose any air. Fire test. Sometimes you sleep next to a fire, so let's see what would happen if a rogue ember made its way over. Exped burned the most with about 4 to 5 small holes. Thermarest almost popped. If you look closely, you can see how it started to bubble but didn't go all the way through. No holes for the Thermarest. Sea to Summit had about 5 to 6 small holes, which if you rubbed your hand on it you could feel them, as they are difficult to see. And finally, Klymit Static V, which had about 1 to 2.